Welcome to my review of the recent content this week in Helldivers. We're going to be looking at the new warband, Entrenched division. And then we're going to move right on to the new enemies and content. And with that, I hope you enjoy. Also, we have a Discord. The link's in the description, and we're pretty neat. Hop in, join the crusade, make new friends. I'm there pretty frequently. Anyway, on to the video. The Entrenched division. The new warband is now the most expensive warband, with needing nearly 880 medals to finish. The only one bigger than this is the default Helldivers Mobilize. We can hope that with this cost, the performance lives up to that. Now, the weapons. The SMG/Flam 32 Stoker. The Stoker is an SMG with a flamethrower underbarrel and has one-handed capabilities. It features light penetration with 12mm ammo and heavy penetration for the fire. The flamethrower is very similar to the P72 Crisper in the way that it operates. Me and a few other Crusaders have found some great results using this Stoker with a ballistic shield. This lets you rainfire and bullets behind the safety of Super Earth's finest alloy shields. It takes around 3 ammo boxes on the ground to refill it from empty and 1 from the supply box, which is nice for refilling. Overall, it's a fine SMG. It'd be great if you're an SMG user, it's a very good all-rounder. I'd say it's about a 7 out of 10. The CQC-73 Entrenchment Tool. This is a melee secondary and doubles as a shovel. Now this one I feel is leaning into reused asset territory, as mostly it's just the backpack weapon version. That one was alright, this one's probably is too. It's got a fast swing speed, does 165 damage per hit. I primarily use this for chaff enemies like Voteless or Scavengers, so it works a bit like the Saber. It's fine as a weapon, but that brings me on to the next use of it. It's as a shovel. You can dig trenches, which are perfect for hiding and protecting stratagems, although unfortunately due to how the game mechanics work, this does not always pan out. When you try to use it to make a trench for a defensive position, it takes way too long. You can get swarmed, stun-locked, and killed. The best case scenario is on evacuate high value asset missions. You can use it to hide mortars or turrets from being one-tapped. I like melee, so I'm a fan. I'd say this is a 6 out of 10. It will never be like my beloved ballistic shield and stun lance combo though. The B/Flam 80 Cremator. The Cremator is probably my favorite thing from the warband, and it will make me speak like a normal human with my excitement. It has a capacity of 500 super whatevers of the finest napalm. It has the longest range of all fire weapons and does a whopping 225 damage a second. It can absolutely char most enemies in seconds, and has most definitely earned its name of the Cremator. This is my favorite backpack weapon that has been released so far. I think this should set the precedent of what backpack weapons should be. In the future, or perhaps now, we could probably retroactively go back and change how backpacks work to be a bit similar to the Cremator, so that the sacrifice of not having a backpack slot is worth it. But that's a job for the balance team, and as we know, there is no balance team. But that being aside, I got a little sidetracked. I'm probably going to rate this 10 out of 10. I'm married to this thing, honestly, I love it. The P69 Vito. This is a gun that lives in a weird spot right now. It's a jet-propelled pistol with medium penetrating rounds. I thought this would be light pen, but I'm very glad to be wrong. It's medium. It does 105 damage a shot with a 12-round capacity. The reload's a bit odd. It functions in a similar manner to the autocannon. It has a stripper clip reload, but that holds 6 rounds. And because it's a 12-round gun, it means you're going to have to do full reload cycles. So 6 in the stripper clip, reload, 6 in the stripper clip, reload. Now, then your gun's full. It takes quite a while. This is going to take you a long time to get back to full fighting strength. However, it has quite a powerful stun, meaning you can take advantage of that to stun an enemy that's advancing you and then switch to something stronger. It only works on small to medium enemies. I will say the jet-propelled round does take some time to get used to though, as it flies at a slower speed compared to other bullets. And that means if you're fighting flying enemies like elevated overseers or shriekers, watchers, it's kind of hard to track where they're going to move because you got to do the calculations. So I'd say it's more for ground troops, unless you're pretty good at shooting. It's, I like it. Probably could do with a quicker reload, but that's about it. I'm probably going to give it about an 8 out of 10. I like it a lot. But I can see why people won't. Maybe with those changes it'll be a lot better, but I love the aesthetics, and that's probably bumping it up quite a bit. The SG-97 Sweeper. Now I'm very pleased with this shotgun. It's what the Halo shotgun should have been. The first big thing I'm going to get right out of the way is that it's a Superstore only weapon. It has a giant price of 400 super credits. That's just under half the price of the entire Warbond for one gun. I reached out to other Helldivers for comment, and the response I gathered was that they don't seem to care about the huge price. I don't agree with that, but that's opinions. Moving on from that, we should see what the stats are. It does 504 damage a shell, with a 7 shell capacity, and that's per full reload. This is what a good shotgun should be. It has amazing melee capability with a large bayonet that feels very good to use. You can one-tap some smaller enemies if you hit them in a weak spot, like the head on the Volus. I like that it's a slamfire shotgun, because you can fire it pretty much as quick as you can shoot until you're out of ammo, and this can allow you to hit enemies in rapid succession. I'll be using this a lot, as it pairs nicely with reinforced epaulettes. You can use it to reload fast with the reload buff, and you can hit hard with the bayonet. I'd say it's an 8 out of 10 if it wasn't in the Superstore. If it was in the Warbond, it's an 8 out of 10. But because it's Superstore only, that's going to bring it down to a 6 out of 10. Because paying 40% of a Warbond for one item when you get nearly 20 items for 1,000, I don't think is fair. G48 Giga Grenade. I'll keep this short. It's a bad mix between the dynamite and thermite. And you get 2, and it only does like 2,000 damage, meaning it doesn't one-tap big enemies. I feel that the devs were too afraid to make it stronger. It could have done a bit more damage, as it's sort of the ugly cousin. Wants to be a thermite, acts a bit like a dynamite. I don't know, you can't really throw it that far either. The ammo economy is it's not that good, really. I struggle to use a lot of them. I run out nearly instantly, because, you have 2, you need a grenade pack to refill it, and if you supply, you only get 1, so you need 2 whole supplies to fill it up. You can throw 2 nearly instantly to kill 1 enemy. Not very good. I feel in its current state it's probably going to be forgotten, thrown to the back of your inventory. It's just because it's in that odd spot. It probably needs some tweaking for it to actually be a standout weapon. And because of that, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I don't really like it, but I can see why people would. A/GM17 Gas Mortar Sentry. This is a mortar. Goes into the niche immediately, because it's a mortar, it's like all the others. That being said, it's nice to have another one on our arsenal. It's just another sentry that fires gas, so there's not much I can add to that. Works well in the defensive missions. You can pair it with the shovel, like I said earlier. You can dig down, throw it down. Makes it a bit more stronger. You could probably run out of ammo before it gets destroyed, and throw it a bit further to the front lines to get it right into the back where they spawn. It's a mortar, so it's gonna go low. It's gonna be a 4 out of 10. I can see myself covered in gas in the near future. It's gonna friendly fire me. I know it. I'm gonna get mad. So, fortunately, it's 4 out of 10. Armors. I'm gonna go over the armors very briefly, as I want to talk about the new enemies more. The light is the CPH-26 Commandant. It's the light armor. It looks like a World War I commander with a jacket, and it features the passive Concussive Padding and Hazmat. That provides a 50% resistance to explosive damage and a 25% resistance to gas damage and effects. It also lets you have a sidearm recoil reduced by 30%. The gas resistance is low, and it's not really that effective on light armor, as because you have lower health, the percentage is also lower that you would get, say, out of something medium or heavy, because you'd have more health to use that percentage. So that isn't that useful. It's probably better on the medium or heavy. And sidearm recoil is not as much of an issue as it is for sway after sprinting, and because you're light, you're going to be sprinting more. Because the passives don't really suit the size, I'm going to have to go with a 5 out of 10 for that. The CPG-48 Sapper. This is the medium armor. It looks like an infantry trooper and features the passive Concussive Padding and Grenadier. That provides a 50% resistance to explosive damage and increases initial inventory and holding capacity of throwables by 2. I feel this would be good if you're using the new Giga Grenade, but I spoke about that earlier. And the 50% resistance might be useful here, as the medium armor is a bit stronger, and that's obviously going to be better with the 50% because there's more to use that 50% on. And because of that, that's going to raise it to a 7 out of 10. CPR-80 Bulwark. This is the heavy one. This is my favorite because I'm a heavy user mainly. I love the design of the steel plating, giving it a very rugged, made in the middle of the war feel. You know, it's just metal bent together with leather straps. It's beautiful. The helmet isn't that nice to me. I prefer the Sapper helmet with it. That's a very nice combo. But it's another thing that's in the superstore, so that's something to bear in mind. It's 250 super credits for the body piece, and 125 for the helmet, and 100 super credits for the cape. That's 475 super credits overall, and that's another steep price. Again, that's over near enough half the war bond for the armor, and then if you want to include the sweeper shotgun, that's nearly the entire price of the war bond for one armor and gun, whereas you can get 2 armors and I think 3 guns in the war bond for the same price. So that's, you know, another thing. But the passives it has is Concussive Padding and Reinforced, which provides a 50% resistance to explosive damage like all the others. But the thing that makes this unique is that it provides a higher armor rating, making it the second strongest armor. And I know it's going to be pretty good against the bots because they have a lot of explosive weapons. But overall, I really like it. I wonder what the bots are going to think when they see the metal demon running at them. This is my favorite one, so it's going to get a 9 out of 10 because I like it. The new enemies. The Crusaders is a mech piloted by an overseer. It's a melee enemy that uses its giant hands to crush the hellbagger. It has a charge attack where it will run at you until you are crushed or hit into a wall. It sort of runs at you, keeps going, a bit like a charger, bang, gets you. Basically the Illuminate charger. I'm not a fan of it personally, but I probably need to get better at killing them. I found the new Crusader to be really good, and I'd recommend you use that, because if you can fire it at the cockpit, you just burn them out from the inside and they drop. I'd say it's a 7 out of 10, but I think maybe the charge attack needs to be changed a bit, because they just keep going. I've not seen them stop like the charger. If they see you and start the charge, they will keep going. So if you're in an open field, they'll keep running until they get you, or they hit something. So, something to bear in mind. The Gatekeeper. The Gatekeeper is a power mod who docks on... Wait, wrong Gatekeeper, my bad guys. The Gatekeeper is an Illuminate. It has the same frame and operator as the previous one, and the only difference is that it has dual machine guns. These can cut you down after it charges up. Similar to the Maxi gun, but more Illuminati, less democratic. I'd recommend the same strategy with the fire with the Crusader for these. You can get close enough though, because if you get near them with the dual machine gun, you're dead in seconds. I like them a lot. It's a bit like fighting a Patriot if you were, you know, a stinky voteless. But this is pretty solid again. I like the exosuit designs. They're pretty cool. It reminds me a bit of the, what's the name? The Striders on the bot front. But yeah, like I said, solid 7 out of 10. Just like the Veracita. The Obtruders. The Obtruders, they kind of look like a prototype or sort of old version of the Watcher. They spawn in huge groups, I've noticed, and they don't stop on Div 10. They can't call in reinforcements, but they can fire up to do one big charge, and that can act like a firing squad to you if they surround you. You can dodge 1, but can you dodge 20? And I think them not being able to call reinforcements was a very good call. I think they spawn a bit too much on Div 10. They just don't stop. I've killed probably thousands already. They're a good flying voteless surrogate, you know, sort of, because on their version, the appropriators, there's not that many voteless, so they're sort of the surrogate. They do that job well, but they're probably a 5 out of 10 just because they're sort of bland. They're trying to be like the Watcher, they're trying to be like the voteless, they don't stand out. And I think in their current state, they're just not that fun. They were fun for a mission, but now it's like, oh, here comes more. Oh, 20 more. Oh, another 30. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my super late video. It took a while to make. I struggle a lot to write these scripts, so sort of bear with me, I'm new. And remember about the Discord, I really would appreciate it if you joined. And please like, subscribe, grow the channel. I want to make this a more viable thing for me. Not necessarily monetized, but I just want to know if people enjoy it and want to see more. I always want to, I want to have a different view as well. I want people to come here and have a different perspective. But only like 5 of you are going to see this, you know, retention drops off. But I hope you all have a great day. And let me know if you want to see more scripted stuff like this, or maybe a little more off the cuff. Remember, have a great day, enjoy hell diving. I'll see you all around.